and then I'm gonna
Turn it up.
we're gonna put us up,
Turn it up.
and yeah, we're ready to go.
Hello, America and the world. Welcome to another episode of Does It Get Better? I submit it does not. Rich, on the other hand, says it does. Today we're going to discuss. Today's episode is childhood traumas. Is that? Oh, no. Sad boys.
Sad boys, yes, boys
Sad
with an
boys.
I.
We're going to discuss our childhoods and also probably death metal because it's fresh on our head. I'm Neil.
I'm Rich. How's it going?
And yeah, what did so you picked the topic? Was there anything in specific you had in mind? In particular, specifically?
Not in specific. No, I for whatever reason was just kind of thinking about us as adults, you and I, because it was Sunday, and like you texted me literally when I was thinking about what we should have been talking about today last night, which was wild.
Dude, our cycles are synced.
Yes, they are, and I was like, we are adults in our 40s now. We've known each other for.
Speak for yourself. I'm 28,
and we've known each other for so long. And we've known each other since we were, teenagers.
30 years.
It's wild,
30
right?
30 years.
So
28 or 29 years.
20 some odd years. And I know you as my friend. I don't know you as someone's... I don't know a lot of your upbringing, background, childhood, teenage years, even though I knew you in our respective teenage years. And I think a lot of what we've been talking about recently, and we've touched on it, like comes from how we were brought up, comes from how we reacted to things and were, immersed in certain ways of upbringings. And I thought it'd be interesting if we kind of just touched on, and for the people who listen to us too, to get to know like where we come from, like what we don't have to specifically talk about traumas or negative stuff or positive stuff or whatever you want to call it. It's just more like get to know your hosts this evening. But because I thought I specifically brought it up because I don't know much about your childhood, and maybe that's for a reason, and I don't want you to put you on the spot for anything, but or maybe it's just because it never came up in the 28 years that we've known each other.
Well, why is that so loud? Okay. Well, I know you were born in Huntington, right? You were born and raised in Huntington?
Yep. I was born in Huntington. Yep.
Were you born in that house?
That's my childhood house. Yep.
And how old were you when your sisters were born?
Let's see. I think 11, 12.
And your dad pieced out super early.
My actual dad, is someone who I've never met.
Never met.
Right. So he was never in the picture after I was born. It was one of those kind of like left before I was born deals back in 1978 with my mom.
Was your mom married or no?
She was married.
No, I mean to him.
Yes. They were a couple.
And then he pieced out, and then your mom remarried when you were super young, no?
Yeah, I think what was I, 10? Well, if Kimberly and April were born when I was like 11 or 12, it had to have been like 9 or 10 years old when
how far apart are they?
A year. They're only a year apart. Yeah. So if I'm 42 and Kimberly just turned 30, so 12. Let's say 12. I was 12 when they were both born. And then I think my mom...
So crazy to think of your sisters as 30.
I know.
So crazy.
It's wild, right? Yep, they're up there. They're both over 30 now. But yeah, I was super young. It was one of those. It was I got my sisters were born, and then very shortly after, my mom and my stepdad split up. So it was just me, my mom, and then my sisters. So growing up, it was just me and my mom. Then she got remarried a couple of years into it, or I don't even know. I can't even place it because it is so long ago. Maybe it was a year or two before Kimberly was born.
Well, I met you. You were probably like 17, and your dad and your stepdad was gone already.
Right. Yep.
So that was super short.
Yep. It was definitely. Wow. I mean, he made a pretty significant impact because he was a musician, and he was like, he was a manly man. He would work out.
Was he cool?
He was cool. Yeah, he is cool. He like
stay in touch.
Every once in a while. It's faded over the years. Like usually every Christmas you'd get like like a card or even just a text message or something. But it's faded, pretty much to.
How do your sisters feel about him?
Mixed.
Are they like, Dad's cool, or are they like, fuck Dad? Oh, sorry.
No, I mean they have mixed feelings, but they do still stay in touch, and like they go visit him when they can and whatever, like every once in a while. So he's got a new family and two kids. He lives down in Florida, so.
Have you met the kids?
Yeah, they just graduated high school this year, so they're like older teenagers as well. I met them.
There's no relation with you and him and them, but your sisters are half.
Right. My sisters are half sisters technically, but ever since they were born, I never really referred to them as anything but like.
Oh no! I meant to these new people.
No,
oh,
no.
No, I know you refer to them as your sister. Like you don't. I always thought that was weird when families do that, because
when they do like half sibling or whatever, like
when they refer to them differently.
Yeah, that is strange, right?
I don't want to like air things that I don't know if they want aired.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I know someone intimately. That has a not that she doesn't say half, but she distinguishes.
Right.
She does.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Usually, I mean, this is my opinion, but usually if somebody refers to someone as their half sister, they don't have a good relationship with them. Like it's kind of.
But that's the thing. Like they're unbelievable. It's a
really
relationship.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, no, those two, the two from my stepdad, no relation. That's just like they're just my sister. They're basically my sister's half brother, and it like cycled over. They've got their half, and their Kimberly and April are my half, but we just call each other brother sister. But yeah, so
they're quarter. They're
my quarter. Yeah. They're my sub quarter brother and sister.
My quarter brother and sister.
And my stepdad was cool. He was in a new wave like punk band in the like early 80s.
Do you know the name?
Yeah, Social Register. I have their 7-inch actually digitized.
No.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's really good actually. It's really, really good.
Is it on Spotify or anything?
No, definitely not. It's like
you should post it on YouTube.
I think that's where I found it, to be honest. No, I found it on some like weird Discogs like I was searching because basically what I wanted to do for him one birthday of his, or was it Christmas? One gift giving day. It was a birthday or Christmas that we were going to be down there, and I would see him. I don't get to see him all that often, but my sisters and myself were down in Florida.
What part of Florida?
The one close to where the Mets spring training is. Port St.
Yeah. Jupiter.
Yeah. That area.
Stewart, Delray Beach.
Stewart, I think sounds familiar. But anyway, yeah. So I actually was like Googling like.
So,
I was like Googling like crazy, like all these combinations of like his.
Google like crazy.
Jesus Christ.
I'm in a manic.
You're in one of those, yeah.
I'm in,
You're
I'm in
swirling.
medium mode, yeah, sorry.
And I found it. It was on like one of those like sites that like lists obscure releases, and some guy actually had it like digitized and uploaded, and I was able to find it. I put it on a CD for him and I brought it to him. He was like, "Whoa!" He was like, because he probably hasn't even thought about it in many years. But I got those songs and they're really cool.
What did he play? Did he play guitar?
He played drums. Yeah.
Did he buy you your first guitar?
He bought me my first good guitar and amp and whammy pedal. He got me a Telecaster, a Fender, like a 2x12, one of the Fender combos, the good combos, and a whammy pedal, because I really liked Rage Against the Machine at the time.
Do you prefer Neglect or Cleanser?
I hadn't heard Neglect before I heard Cleanser. I liked Cleanser better, and now I like Neglect better.
Okay. I won't tell Christian you said that last part. We were talking because Christian's birthday was recently,
Mm-hmm.
and for it, like, I'm in a text, and it's race. Do you know Brendan Casey?
Yeah.
So it was race, Brendan. Did you come to DC with us that time?
No. I can't say I've ever gone to DC for anything but my grandfather's something. That's the only time I've ever gone.
It's race, me, Christian, Brendan, and Tom Sheehan.
Mm-hmm.
From Axe to Grind podcast. If anyone anyone wants to check it out. And on his birthday, like, everyone's just like texting, like, like song, like
Sure,
Cleanser
sure,
song, like,
yeah.
But I came to the realization that, like, Cleanser wasn't unsavable. Like, they just needed a producer who could, like, put his foot down to, like, make Keith play a beat.
Uh-huh.
And, like, clean up some of, like, Derek's ADHD. And just put something on the vocals to, like, get it
Right.
more palatable.
Right.
But it's, like, some sick grooves. I was like, this is... So, like, I didn't understand at the time the appeal, but now I'm like, oh, I get it.
Now you get it. This many years later.
It's like a wine.
Yeah.
Cleanser's like a
better with
fine-
age.
Cleanser's like an awful wine. No, it's a good wine. I just like to make fun. It's a very good wine. I just like to make fun of Christian because he's my friend.
Yeah. That's what we do.
And that's how I am. Yeah, I hide my emotions behind sarcasm
And insult.
insult. But not like, nothing mean, little microaggressions. Do you prefer Cleanser? When did you get your first guitar?
I was in I was in high school. I was babysitting a bunch and saving money. I was putting money underneath my turntable. I would babysit my sisters and my mom's friends' kids. And I bought a Pro Session Stratocaster from Sam Ash in Huntington, across from Walt Whitman Mall. Yeah. I rode my bike and bought my first guitar, and then rode my bike home.
Not at all.
Not too wrong, but with a guitar, like I bought it.
Because you didn't have like a gig bag.
No, just had it, and I had to ride home like
crossing 110,
like
125.
Yeah,
just like catty corner across that, like honking, like everyone's honking.
Like, got a guitar here. Let me go. Yeah, no, I was in whatever. So Jim Slavin was my guitar teacher. He was in my computer graphics class. I had to have been in this had to have been like 9th or 10th grade, and his name was Jim Slavin. He taught me Last Caress by what I thought was Metallica, but I didn't learn about the Misfits forever. He taught me that song, and then taught me power chords, and that was how I learned how to play guitar.
Huh.
He lived like kind of close to me. My mom would drop me off for a half-hour session or whatever, and he'd teach me like a scale and whatever, and then from there I learned what a power chord was, and then that was it, and that's all I still know. I don't know what notes are. I don't know what keys are. I don't know what scales are. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I
You're like a good guitarist.
If I just fake it long enough, people will think that. Yeah.
Well, you've been in like good bands and stuff too.
Yeah.
You don't like chords.
I mean, I know like the big three, like GAD,
GAC.
GAC, whatever. I could write an Oasis song if I needed to.
I guess it's JCD is really like.
Yeah. But.
Huh.
Yeah. So.
Huh. How did you end up in Reggie?
Michael Dubin.
That's a Dubin?
That's a Dubin connection. Yeah.
Wow.
He hey, do you want to play guitar in Reggie? Okay. And that's how it happened. It was like he texted me whenever we got back from, was that like when we got back from a tour? God, it's been so long.
No, it probably was a My Chem tour you were on.
No, that was after. My Chem came after Reggie. That's how I got.
Oh,
That's how I got My Chem was Reggie. Yeah.
Reggie.
Yeah. It was basically
Reg.
Dubin was like, "Hey, do you have time to play guitar in a band?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Can you meet James at Penn Station tomorrow afternoon?" And I waited for James like for 6 hours outside Penn Station, and he either never showed up or showed up and was just like, "Hey man, yeah, okay, cool, I'll still talk to you soon." And I was like, "Why did I come?" But yeah, no, that was a Dubin thing.
Go on tour for a week and then I'm gonna steal your gear.
Oh God, that's right.
Did you ever get your amp back from them or no?
Yeah. It took a long fucking time, but yeah.
So funny.
So.
Man, what a troubled guy that kid was. He was such a good time, and then like, oh man, what a bum out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like poor guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you don't set out to be a mess.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you don't.
Yeah. There's lots of factors.
It's just a series of bad breaks, and then you end up doing something regrettable and make a habit of it.
Sometimes you can't recover.
Yeah.
So.
Crazy.
So yeah, being a kid.
Was Rival Schools your first tour?
My first tour.
No, you took me out. What year was As the Sunsets Metal Fest?
That was At Any Cost Metal Fest. I remember that. That was awful. Oh my God. We just drove to Milwaukee and back for one show.
Yeah.
To play in front of 7 people.
To watch In Flames.
And we watched In Flames and Immolation and fucking so many awesome bands. Candiria played. I remember that.
What year was that?
Oh man. It's got to be like maybe 97. Metal Fest 97. Because I moved to Rhode Island in 96. So it couldn't have been 96. I wasn't already in the band and like established enough to play Metal Fest.
97 or 98 probably.
Yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah. 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 No, my first real tour was.
Is it possible it was 99?
I think that's too. I think it was already.
Late.
We were already done by
98.
now. 7 or 8. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like Sons broke up in 98. And that's when I was like, I'm hitting the road.
Yeah.
I didn't come home for 4 years.
Yeah. It didn't come home for 4 years.
I went with anybody.
Yeah.
I went anywhere with anybody.
Yeah. I did that. I did the What Feeds the Fire, Hatebreed, Bane, Poison the Well tour, and then
I did that with you too.
You did that with
I
us?
did some of those days. I definitely was at a couple of those shows.
Did I do that
Maybe
before
I met you
or
at those
after?
shows? But I definitely was at a couple of those because I remember hanging out with those guys for sure. And then what was the band you were in with Lex?
That was As the Sunsets.
I did dates with you guys too.
I didn't play too many shows far away. It might have been just local stuff.
Oh,
But I wasn't in too long. I wasn't in that band too long.
Maybe I just came up and hung out.
Yeah. And all the reasons why I played all those shows is because I played guitar because my stepdad bought me one, and we played what's that fucking band? I want to say White Zombie, Rob Zombie, White Zombie, right? That's that's White Zombie. Yeah, we would play that song in the basement together.
You and your dad?
Yeah. I would play it for him on the boombox because I would have like a tape or whatever, and he'd be like, "Oh, you mean and then we would just play like that riff over and over and over again. It was a lot of fun. We would jam together, and it's like
that's so great. That's just a great memory, man.
Yeah, he would just.
Oh man, that must have been so great.
It was cool.
I see these videos like on YouTube of like a dad playing with like his 3 kids are playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like his kid will play shitty drums, his other kid will play shitty piano, and he's like playing Wonderwall on acoustic guitar while his like daughter dances around like an idiot. And it's just like, it's so cool, man. It's so awesome.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
I bet like John Nolan's gonna be like that.
Just like a family full of musicians.
Yeah, he's just gonna raise a shitload of musicians.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was neat to have a figure in the family that had like a musical talent.
You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. That's like the one thing, and I wouldn't change anything for anything. Let's put that out there. But like, Matt Pryor's kid is in a band, and they're punk as fuck, and it's just like, that's gotta be like, I did it.
Yeah,
I nailed it.
yeah.
I nailed it. She's smart. She's cool, and she's in a punk rock band. I did it.
I did it right.
You know what I mean? Like, man, that's cool, man. That's all. I like where I'm at though. Oh man.
What about you? Tell me about you. Tell me about. I know you don't want to. I can tell by your.
Is today's episode avoidance?
I can totally tell. I want to know one thing I don't know about you. I want to know something.
I know about you.
Today is avoidance.
I want you to show me.
Today's topic is watching Neil avoid all the questions.
Let's avoid some questions. All right.
Yes. How many? Okay, I know you have siblings. What's your brother sister situation?
I'm just gonna do bits, dude. My siblings are all so much older than me that I just assume one of them is my real parent. Like growing up, my brother would always get me like the best presents and like coach my little league teams and call me son. Little hints. You'd be like, Neil, you're like the son I've always had. No? Yeah, 2 brothers and a sister, all older than me. At my father's funeral, we actually discussed. They knew a different person than I did.
Really?
Like they knew young, spry Ralph Rubenstein.
Mm-hmm.
I knew old sleep apnea, retired on disability Ralph Rubenstein. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They knew the dad that would like go fight for them. I knew the dad who would be sleeping on the couch when I got home.
Right.
Like we had different parents.
Wow.
Like my mom was like young and hip.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got like old, depression, addicted to medication, agoraphobic, hypochondriac.
Right.
We had different families. They had like siblings that were close to them. I had like aunt and uncle aged siblings.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah. I never knew that was that big of a gap there. Yeah.
I always, my sister's the closest to me, and she's like 10 or 11 years older than me. And I don't want to talk about this. My my brother Mark always felt like we have a really good relationship, my brother Mark and I.
Mm-hmm.
It was strained for a little while because like I was a bad son. In my early 20s, I was a real dick to my family,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt like it was deserved. So there was like a little bit of a strain. But me and my brother Mark get along great. My brother Lee and I get along pretty good, but he's kind of like we're both very comfortable being the black sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if no one wants to talk to me, no one talks to me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's like that too. So he doesn't like reach out as much as maybe we would, And it's funny too, because like I'll notice, like he tries, like he'll hit me up and be like, "Hey, what was that band?" You know what I mean? And it's like, and then like I don't want to live in the past, so I'm like, I don't. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's unfair to him because it's like he wants to, like.
Right, he's trying, making an effort or whatever. Yeah.
It's just we're different. He's like whatever. He's like in his 60s or whatever he is. You know what I mean? It's like we're just.
Are you really that far apart? Like.
I'm like 17 years from him.
Wow! Holy crap!
Yeah.
All right. That's a big difference.
When we moved out to Long Island, I switched. This is the funny thing. My sister and my mom are both righties,
mm-hmm.
and my dad and both my brothers are lefties, and I'm a righty. So like 3 to 5 or 3 to 7, I was like, oh, I'm broken. Like there's something. I'm a woman. I'm supposed to be a woman.
Right.
Righties are women.
Yeah.
Lefties are men. There's something wrong here. And then, which is such a that's like such a fake American dream bullshit. You know what I mean? Where it's like we moved out here so we could live in a house and go to a better school and not have money for anything. You know what I mean? Because like Long Island's brutal.
Right.
So like I was the poor kid in the rich neighborhood, or
was that the house that I knew you? Was that where you guys moved? And that was okay.
And what was I? We switched kindergartens in the middle, and like they were out of like blue pencil boxes, and that's like back when they gendered all the kids real hard.
Yep.
And so I got like a pink pencil box, and I sat next to this girl Tanya, who like was a girl but had like a boy haircut, and so it was like, oh, I'm with her, And like we grew up being friends, and like I was always like, there's something wrong, and I still am like, you know what I mean? Like, I hear like kids today who are like confident in their like gender switching, and I'm like, oh man, it's so easy. You guys have it so easy now, man. I just get beat up all the time for that shit.
Did you, going back to the righty lefty thing? Did you actually think that was how it was supposed to be when you were a kid?
100%.
Okay.
So I was like, probably till like first or second grade when I started seeing other boys being right-handed.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, the damage was done because it was like I was a righty and I had a pink pencil box in kindergarten. There's no recovery, dude. There is no recovering from anything like that in kindergarten.
Yeah,
you get the pink pencil box in kindergarten. That's it. Your next 6 years of school is a nightmare.
Yep.
And then double that with like, my mom sent me to school in sweatpants, and if I got a hole, she would sew a patch on them. Because they were too cheap to do anything because they fucking moved to Long Island when they couldn't afford it.
Oh, man. I had a somewhat similar weird kid brain understanding of birthdays when my mom's birthday is May 15th and my birthday is July 15th. So I thought for the longest time, I can't remember when I didn't. Everybody, if you're a offspring of a parent, you have the same day birthday.
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I don't know when I snapped out of that one, but it was definitely a lot deeper into early teenage years than it should have been.
But do you slip back into it when you find someone with your birth date? You're like, oh. Oh,
wait a minute. Oh, we're related. Oh.
Are you my? Oh no. Are you my mommy?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually, the funny thing is talk about. I have a half sister, who apparently reached out to my mom at some point.
Your first.
Yeah,
dad?
my birth dad.
Your first dad.
My first dad one.
First dad.
Yes, my mom shared a bunch of information with me a few Christmases ago. I think it was like one of the Christmases that I was like, I lived in California but had come back, or maybe it was like before I moved to, it was one of these like weird times where I wasn't really around too much. And she told me, like, she gave me some pictures, and she told me, though, she's like, oh yeah, well, you have a half sister, your dad's daughter, and she reached out at one point, just, saying hi. And I mean, at some point being like many years ago, but still like, she's probably around my age. So she's in her 40s. So, and I think my mom was like hinting at like trying to find the dude. Cause I don't know. I have no idea like where he is. Like the last thing my mom knew, he was in California somewhere. Like if anybody asks about my birth dad, I'm like, well, he's a guy and he lives in California somewhere. Like that's all I know about him. I do have one picture of him around his mid 30s, I think, and we look identical. We look absolutely identical. I'll have to send that to you. But yeah, there's just little bits of information. I did one of those like ancestry.com things too, to see if I could like accidentally match with somebody to like find more information, but all I found was like info on my grandfather and my grandmother.
So Gaccioni is your mother's
name. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's
What was your dad's
name? McPherson.
Rich McPherson.
Yeah.
Would we be as good of friends if your last name was McPherson?
Probably not.
I think not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Just like growing up, just like because I had the advantage, and this is a weird advantage, I had the advantage of not having an attachment to a male figure the first 12 years or 11 years of my life. Like I just thought, just like with birthdays, I just thought that's how it was. You know what I mean? Like in my head, like, oh, just I have a mom. What, like I had no idea what a dad was. Isn't that wild to like think that? But I had no mental, physical, any emotional cue as to like a dad. So it was just me and mom. And that's like where a lot of my like way I approach things come from too, because I was raised by a female. I was with my grandmother a lot of the time too, because my mom would drop me with my grandparents to babysit. And that's why my grandfather, who we talked about a little bit, was such a big deal once I sort of understood his role in the family. And like he was kind of like the dad once I kind of like
he was the patriarch of the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. So but like the day, whoa, it's snowing and there's sun out. Wow, that's crazy. It's literally snowing and there's sun outside. So it was just like, what's a dad? Okay, I get it. Yeah, you have a dad. That's cool. That must be cool. Like that's pretty neat. I just knew what, life was, just me and my mom.
And when did you... Well, you never really did, right? You never decided what you wanted to do. Right?
No, that was like one of the biggest fucking, pardon my language, but just like, no. It was like go to school, then vomit something out that I thought like I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
What did you go to school for?
Art history. I went to school for photography first and foremost, and then got in a fight with the department head trying to get into the actual program to get my degree. She didn't like me. I didn't like her. She wouldn't allow me into the program. I changed my major, and now I have a stupid art history degree. I mean, I have a college degree, sure, but it's like...
Isn't that crazy that someone like just can be, I mean, pardon the word, but someone can just be a cunt and ruin a life?
Yep. I mean, that's 100%. I mean, I totally agree. She was nasty. She was like, just did not encourage artistic anything. She wanted everybody to do things like she expected them to look, and that's not what I was doing. I was taking pictures of people and bands and life and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just taking pictures of the things that are around me and the things that I found interesting. Yeah. She was taking pictures of like flowers and trees and bugs and stuff and calling it art. And I was like, but wait, I don't want to do that. And she just didn't like it. So she didn't like me. So, so she didn't let me in the program.
So crazy, man.
At a community college with only like 5 people that would want to get into this program anyway, and so changed my major and finished my degree. And that was after a long break too, because I had went on tour and stuff, and stopped school like 3 years into it, and then I went back to school and finished in 2008. I finished. It just took.
When'd you leave school?
I left school around the rival schools. The rival school, because I was 96, 7, 8, 9.
Rival schools was
2001. Yeah. So I left school before that. I was already not doing school by that point. I think in 2000 I stopped school because I was just like, I can't. I don't want to. This is just dumb. This is just stupid. And then we did all the tours and I did all that stuff. And then when I got back from Reggie the second time.
Hang on a second. You going shopping? Do you have that little list I gave you? I love you. Be safe. My wife's going to shop.
Have fun, Kathleen.
Rich says hi and have fun. He's waving.
Women be shopping, am I right?
Women be shopping. You are right.
I took a big break because I was just like, you know what? College is just dumb. This was my interpretation. I was just like, this is dumb. My teacher didn't like me. I wanted to do this thing. I can't do this thing. And I'm going to go, I worked at the game store. I was like, the nerd store, as it was called around here. And then I went on tours and I did all that stuff. And,
Did you know when you first started playing guitar, did you know like what it could lead to, and did you have like a goal in mind then? So like for me, like I saw Motley Crue on the cover of like Kerrang or Circus in like 6th grade, and right. I was like, oh, I want to have tattoos, be in a rock band, go on tour. And that was it. Like there was never going to be any talking me out of it.
Right.
It was going to happen. Was there like a moment like that where you're like, oh, I'm going to play guitar in a band? Like I just want to play rock and roll.
Never. It was like, it was such a weird thing. It was like the being in bands and stuff. What's that?
Guitar was just like a hobby.
Yeah, it was just like, it was cool. Like I liked Metallica and Slayer, so I wanted to learn how to play Metallica and Slayer songs. Like that was it. Like I wanted to learn that. And then like whoever it was, I think Boar was my first band I was in. And I played bass in that band too. No, wait, did I play guitar? What did I play? Lana played bass, right? So I must have played second guitar.
Lana played bass, and then
Nick played drums. Nick played guitar. Anthony played drums.
Wow,
yeah. But it was always just like, wow, a band? I can be in a band? Like I thought I needed to be like good to be in a band. And like, when you're a kid, you don't necessarily have to be good to be in a band. But then it just like, once you get into it, and once I got into it, I was like, oh, wow, well, this is cool. And then it just kind of like, from there, it just starts. You meet more people, you play more, you practice more, and you be in different kinds of bands and stuff. And, oh, wait, what was it? What was the band with Stefan?
Sons of Abraham? Oh, This Day Forward for you. This Day Forward?
No.
One Step Down?
That's the one. I was in that.
Like, I knew it was like something in the...
Yeah. One Step Down. That's right. Yeah, that was with Daraja and me and Terry and Evan.
Three-word band?
Three-word band, yeah.
Three-word band?
Three-word band. We changed our name. We went from One Step Down to Days Lost. We went from three-word band to two-word band.
You went from noun adjective. You went from three-word band to noun adjective.
That's right. Yeah.
And then, The one you never did. You never joined the band Animal Part.
No.
That's the other big one. It's 3-word band. Noun, adjective, animal part, and then there's always the time of the year.
Time of the year. Last days of August.
Or early November. Indian summer.
Yeah, and all throughout that, it was definitely encouraged via family members though. My mom always thought it was cool that I was doing music and stuff. Of course my stepdad did, but like he was just so like in the picture, out of the picture so quickly that I was like, you know, he thought it was cool. He would always ask too, like, you know, holidays and stuff when we'd be on the phone or whatever. This was towards like the more beginning of like being separated and stuff. But he would, oh, what are you doing? You working for a band? Cool, you know, cool. He was always interested in the music stuff because he was a musician and like thought it was cool. Like he was like one of those kind of dudes that like being in a band was cool, you know, like if you see the pictures of him in the he's got like the leather jacket and the tight jeans and like, you know, the haircut, like the tight white shirt with the pocket, you know, like just the cool look and music and stuff was cool. But to my mom, I think it was more like creativity and like social interaction, you know, there's those two sides of it. And I think that's what was like for me, and still is. It's the creativity and social aspect of being a band is what I really enjoy. Like kind of holding on to like, hey, I made something that I like and that other people like. Yo, that's crazy. Like to me, that's like the cool thing about it.
Yeah. And being in a band definitely pushes it further. Like when you make music, like making music versus making something that's like a funny video.
Mm-hmm.
Like the song, like people feel, despite the video eliciting an immediate strong emotional reaction, people feel that music is like the stronger like they feel like a stronger bond to the music.
Right. It elicits a more emotional response, I think, right?
I mean, does it? I mean, maybe a more longer lasting response.
Yeah.
But if you make someone laugh immediately, you know what I mean? Like laugh hard, like that's.
Yeah, no, I think it's a more, I think it's like like it's a more extreme like upfront reaction, yeah. Whereas like it's the opposite with a song. Like the reaction kind of like builds the more you hear it. Yeah. Did your parents you with you in bands and stuff? What was your parents' sort of take on you being in bands and touring and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know that my dad ever gave a shit about anything having to do with me.
I'm sorry. Your delivery on that is perfect. So.
And my mother, because she was massively depressed, pretty sure she gave me, not gave me, but whatever you do with Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah.
Like, just like she was, you know, like I was allergic to everything growing up. Grass and the sun and lactose intolerant, and I couldn't play contact sports.
Wow.
Because I was allergic to some, or I had some ailments. And then
wait, is that real? Is that like this is, you're not like embellished, this is like for real? This is all
for real. My mom like wouldn't let me do anything.
Wow.
And then like as I got older, I was like, I'm not allergic to anything.
Right. Wow.
I have an iron stomach. I can eat. I've eaten the same food that gave Kathleen food poisoning and been fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why I was made to believe.
Okay.
I feel like and I've said this to you before, until breaking my leg, I felt like I was invincible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
my mom did this thing to me that I was like, I doubted myself, and I didn't know I couldn't play sports, and I like, what?
Wow.
Like, I, I'm physically I'm fine. I mean, I'm fat because I didn't do anything growing up.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
like, even for a fat guy, it's like I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't. I don't have blood clot. I'm fine. I'm fine. Even for a fat guy, I'm fine.
Right.
Or especially for a fat guy.
Yeah. Especially for a fat guy. Yeah.
So
Was she
when I was,
protecting
like,
you? Is this like I mean, that's like a protective thing, like
I
that
guess 'cause, like,
behavior.
I guess because like my
'Cause you're the youngest.
brothers and sisters all like pieced out and were bad in different ways that
Yeah.
she thought like she could not have me, and it made me worse. Like I was emotionally disturbed. My whole like I hit my home ec teacher in 6th grade. I did I ever show you? I've posted it on Instagram. Like if you're watching and care, you can find it on my Instagram. I posted my attendance record from 9th grade or 10th grade.
I didn't see this.
It was like I went to class 3 times in a quarter.
Whoa.
It was just cut, late, cut, suspension,
Whoa.
suspension, cut, late, note. Like I got a note for some reason one day. I was a bad kid. I mean, I'm not like a good person now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm nice and I'm polite and I am respectful, but it's like I fucking break the law every day of my life, my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I can't name a day where I'm not like doing something crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm polite and I'm nice and I'm respectful. I don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you look at me cross, like I snap.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I'm not. I've never thought of myself as like a, I definitely I've always led a criminal lifestyle. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever my mom was trying to do, it didn't work. My brother had me. My brother had me doing betting slips in 9th grade.
Wow.
I was bringing betting slips to school, getting kids to do their parlays for the NFL. Those little.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was doing that in 9th
Wow.
grade. In 9th grade, my dad encouraged it.
No way.
My dad had a saying. Illegal is a sick bird.
That's a good dad saying, but not one to follow.
Well, I followed it.
Wow.
Can't tell me nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't know. So then I found punk rock, and I was already like bad and rebellious and a contrarian, and I was like, "This is cool. Like this is like a bunch of other guys like me, and like
Yeah.
let's go, whatever."
Yeah.
I mean, I was in like a suburban gang. We were on like ABC News and stuff. And then I found punk rock, and that was it, man. But I knew early that I wanted to tour. I want to get tattoos,
Mhm.
all this stuff.
I wanted, yeah, it's interesting how the music stuff hits different people. Like, I just wanted to make something because I had no talent anywhere else. Like I was like, I can't draw, I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't cook. You know what I mean? Like being a teenager, you try to find this identity. Like you're not even a teenager, like an early child, like just being like, what am I doing? Like, what am I going to do? And like, music was the one thing that hit. I was like, all right, I like music. I like this thing. I like music. And then I'm like, all right, maybe I can try to play music. So that's like, this was the first time I ever like sought out to like try something new on my own fully, was like saving the money from babysitting, riding my bike to Sam Ash, walking into a freaking music store as like a 14-year-old and being like, here's a couple $100. I want to buy that thing. And then like walk riding my bike home, and then that was the start. You know, like, what am I going to do with this thing? How am I going to play it? I don't know how to play it. You know, I don't know how to tune it. But it took all the little steps because I wanted to like do something. And I think that's been, for me, that's been always how I feel. I always want to do something for others, but like have it resonate with myself first. But it also, it's this like, in conjunction with resonating with myself, it makes others like entertained, happy, or whatever.
How are your ears? Like, not ears. How is your ear? Like when you listen to like a song, you can figure it out, or
usually, yeah. At this, yeah, I took to that actually really, really early when I was having those lessons with that guy Jim. He showed me, you know, power chords and stuff. I took to being able to find like a note in a song really easy, but not know what note it is. I could just hear it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't know. You're right. You're not thinking like A through G. You're just thinking like 1 through 12.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And he taught me tablature too. And like, that's like the cheater's way, you know, like it's like,
I mean, that's, you know,
that's what everybody knows. And it's like the easy way to do it.
Unless you're like in an orchestra, you can sight reading's already.
Yeah.
It's like an advanced.
But yeah, that's I've always just wanted to do something. I mean, even with this podcast, like it resonated to share with others, you know, struggles and how to try to get through some of this stuff. And some people have already been like, yo, that echoes with me, and I appreciate you talking about it because it makes it easier. Same thing with like music. If I write a song, or I'm in a band that writes a song and somebody's like, yo, that song's awesome, I really liked what you did with XYZ. It's like, oh, I did it. That's what life is for me. Yeah. You know, like all those bad songs and all those shitty bands I've been in, and all those like, you know, you ripped that off of that band. You finally hit one. And for me, like just hitting that one thing that one time makes all of that like worth it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I struggle with, like I don't ever want to live in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm always like, oh, you know, like what I'm doing now is cooler.
Yep.
So like I have a hard time accepting compliments on like old bands.
You hate that.
The only one that I'm like kind of okay with is Irony of Life, just because like I'm proudest of it.
Yeah.
Where it's like people are like, oh, this is a sick EP or whatever. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's those 3 songs.
That's the one. Yeah.
And then there's like 3 this year's model songs. Where I'm like, those 6 songs are like, that's like, you know, whatever, my life's work or whatever. But yeah, like I don't know, man. I just like when anyone's like, oh, I loved, you know, whatever X band, whatever. I'm just like, yo, check out my comedy.
Yeah.
Like I do something else now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That was 20 years ago. Like, let's go. Let's go forward. That's what like whatever. I was posting like that death metal stuff yesterday. Like I really do like so I'm in a little chat. Oh, you're in that chat group. It's me, Poodle, Sean's Frosty Flamingo, and you.
Mm-hmm.
And people will be like, someone will send a thing, and it'll be like a, you know, like I'm not gonna use using the wrong band, but like a MGLA or 1349, one of those bands.
Mm-hmm.
They'll like send like an old, like they'll send like what's the name? Wachtame? Is that a
Watain?
Watain. They'll send like an old Watain record, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I don't need to get into a record from 2010 today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let me get it. There's so much new stuff all the time. Like 4 records that I'm interested in came out on Friday, and 4 more will come out next Friday. Like I don't need to listen to stuff from 2010 that I haven't heard already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm so familiar with so much stuff from the past that it's like someone introduced me to. I just heard Jim Carroll Band for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, so many people are gonna die. Oh, people
yeah,
gonna die.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And I didn't know it was Jim Carroll Band, and someone played it. Someone was like, "Oh, that's Jim Carroll Band," and played me because I'm on like a mile a minute here. a newer band. I think Baby Fuzz is the name of the band. Covered that song, or did a variant of that song,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent that to somebody. My buddy Chris, you know Chris Martello, you know Chris.
Yeah.
Sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh, that's a cover of this band, this thing," assuming I knew it because it's like an old punk rock thing. Like,
Right.
I'm supposed to know it,
You're supposed to know. Yeah.
and I didn't know it for some reason. It just never got on my radar. I just didn't know it, and I started listening to it. I was like, "This is really good," but I don't have the room I don't have the energy right now to spend it on a band that's not gonna make any new music.
Right. Right.
That isn't gonna play live. That isn't gonna post a video. That isn't,
Yeah.
like, they're not gonna see the penny from Spotify. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if this is like a shittier thing, but it's just like, I just want recency.
No, some people, no, that's totally valid. That's totally valid. To want to know new stuff, that's totally makes sense.
Like, so in that group, they'll send like this like death metal, or this, like, it's mostly black metal in that group. But they'll send something black metal, and it's like, if this isn't like 2016 or more recent, like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so much of it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm gonna miss out on a, you know what I mean? But like, and then there'll be like a band like Soilwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for some reason that I missed that, and then it's like, well, they have a new record out, and I heard a new record, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. Like, I don't mind revisiting that catalog, because like, this is the band that's going to tour.
Because
this
it's still
season.
it's still relevant.
There's
Yeah.
a chance I'm going to see them somewhere,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean? Like, it exists in our world today.
Yep.
And I think that's like really what carries over when people are like, oh, like, I love that album, like, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that album came out in '98. Like, thank you, I appreciate it, but like, it's of no value to anyone.
Right. Except nostalgia. Some people really value nostalgia. Some people don't. It's like,
What? I just don't have that gland.
I know.
man.
I know. We got to
Don't
wrap
have
it up though.
nostalgia gland. Which is why I know Cobra Kai is a fun show. Because I couldn't give a shit about Karate Kid. I don't care. It's fun to watch now. It's fun to experience now.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that Drive Like Jehu tour, they were bad. That's one of my favorite bands. That's one of my favorite albums. I went to see them in my favorite venue, in my favorite city, with my favorite person. And they were bad. I enjoyed myself because it was all my favorite stuff, and I recognized the songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, objectively, they weren't good.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who's like, "Oh my god, I was so sick," it's like, your nostalgia genes kicking
Right,
in. Like,
yeah.
separate that. Separate nostalgia from actual unbiased.
Thanks, Neil.
As I wear an Exodus shirt. But they have newer stuff. And Hatriot,
Hatriot.
Newer band.
Good Lord.
You don't like Hatriot?
I don't think I've heard hate. That's a wild band name. That's
This thing. Dude, they're like super anti-American. I love it.
awesome. All right. Well, that's episode 8. Got anything else? You got anything else to add? Still going.
You got anything else to add?
I don't. I think we brought our listenership up on our backgrounds a little bit, which is cool. So
Caught them up.
that's what I got.
Yo, we caught them up.
Caught them up.
Caught them up. What you got going on? Anything?
Nope.
Bored from paying bread?
Yep, that's it. Just bread and bands trying to practice and stuff. But other than that, that's it. Sitting at home, working out. Garage gym, finally built it, which I'm stoked about. So,
What do you call it? A gymnasium?
a gymnasium. Yeah, my friend Mike from Florida, he has he coined that term, the gymnasium, because he built like a garage, like a very grim gym, and he called it the gymnasium. So we've we've shared the terminology.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow Rich if you want to watch him work out or smell his bread.
Yeah.
Smell my bread.
Smell my workout. Watch my gym.
Watch his bread, smell his gym. Thanks to anyone who's listened. There's like 0 comments today. Carrie said happy MLK Day. And Elizabeth has more brothers and sisters than friends. That's funny. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be here next Monday.
Yes, we will.
And
hopefully we'll have a guest next week too.
you have a guest next Monday?
Yeah, I got a couple in the works. I'll tell you off because I don't want to say anything without it. But yeah, I got a couple people who might be available. So thanks again to Cadence for letting us use the Zoom for this purposes. So thank you once again, Patrick and Aram and the folks at Cadence Leadership. So thanks again. See ya.